Good morning, Joy-Nostalg. So I'm here to talk about commitment. In my job as a land acquisition head, commitment is very important. Or in Filipino, ang commitment ay pangako. Because when I buy property, they don't know me and I don't know them. So the only thing holding both the buyer and the seller together is a commitment o pangako. That's why when I was invited to talk about commitment for the month of February, I was very happy because I wanted to share with everybody in the J&G family the importance of commitment or a pangako. And I also want to take this opportunity to inform people that when they're invited to speak in our Culture Day, please accept it openly because you can inspire people and make them move forward. Thank you, thank you. So, today, we'll talk about commitment. So, as mentioned earlier, commitment, as defined by J&G, is our choice to be purposefully passionate and pious in pursuing the plenary performance of our pledges painlessly. And the charism is magis, which is to do more or greater. And the competence we need to accomplish this task is fortitude or strength in mind. Because yung commitment, para mag-succeed kayo, yung labanan dito sa utak. Hindi naman pera eh. Kasi it's your word. That will bind you with your fellow contact or the one you're dealing with. Okay? So, I also researched in Google, ano ang commitment? So in Google, the definition is the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or activity. In Merriam-Webster, the definition is an agreement or pledge to do something in the future. So dito, with this definition, it's very simple. Again, it's a promise or pangako between two parties to do something in the future. Kaya it's very challenging because you're promising to do something now for something that will happen in the future. In our case, when we buy property, we promise to pay the landowner. In exchange, the landowner promises not to sell the property and when fully paid, transfer to us the property in the form of the title. Kaya, this is very important for not only my job and the jobs of our fellow J&G family. Okay, so next, I will be discussing with you this afternoon dalawang klase ng commitment, personal and organizational. Okay, personal is an obligation one voluntarily agreed to fulfill. Okay, and organizational commitment is the level of engagement and dedication team members feel toward their individual jobs and obligations. So how will I explain this to you this afternoon? The method I'll use is I'll make kwento what I went through when I was a kid, up to now. Okay? So you can better relate because it will just be a free-flowing discussion. So, examples of personal commitment are excellence, inspiration, leadership, good health, generosity, learning. Okay, so to simplify, personal commitment is simply doing what you say you're going to do. Simple lang. So, I will start my story when I was in Xavier. So, my training in commitment started when I was very young. Because my mom told me that you must study well. So, nung bata ako, inutusan ako, wala akong masabi. So, technically, I already have a commitment. Okay? So, as you can see, in grade school, in Xavier, I finished grade school. And the middle picture there, yan yung graduation. And I hope you can see the person in the middle who is very important to all of us. Okay. Okay, so aside from grade school, I finished high school, and then I was able to graduate master's in Fordham. So, in terms of education, my personal commitment went all the way. So, gaya ng sinabi natin earlier, Magis, go to the greatest or the extreme. So, natapos ko all the way up to master's in New York. Similar to our earlier speaker, I went also to Fordham because that's also a Jesuit school. Okay? So, my first exposure to personal commitment was very, very individualized. It was just me and studying. But in reality, ang hirap. The challenges I went through in Xavier, the challenges I went through in Ateneo, and then I also went for masters in the US. But the challenges were not actually the pressures of studying, but yung temptation not to study, especially sa US. Kasi maraming restaurants, then you meet a lot of people. So yung focus mo you get distracted, and instead of focusing on studying, sometimes lumalabas, gumigimik, and then meeting other people, may foreigners pa. So it was hard. But at the end, I got through the challenges, and I actually graduated. So that was my training in commitment. I started my training when I was very young because my mom told me to study well. And I committed to that, and I actually finished all the way up to master's. Okay? So that's my example on personal commitment. Okay, so now we will talk about organizational commitment. There are three kinds of organizational commitment. The first one is called affective commitment. The second one is continuance commitment. And the third is normative commitment. Okay. So before I go to each types of organizational commitment, I would want to show you my stories in organizational commitment. Okay. So my first exposure to organizational commitment was in Xavier grade school. I was asked to join a group called production crew. As you can see, production crew, the job of production crew was to decorate the stages or any activity in Xavier. So I was invited by June Nang to join the group. Siyempre sa start, parang kala ko laro-laro lang. It wasn't serious. But in reality, after a while, nagiging serious na because Xavier saw the value of decorating the activity centers or the stage or any event so that more students will participate and the value of the activity will be there. So from a personal commitment, nag-elevate or it already transformed into our organizational commitment. But this was challenging because wala naman kaming bayad, we didn't get any pay, and it started out as friendship with June. But we realized as the production crew became bigger, meron kaming responsibility to the other members. And not only to the members, to Xavier School, to make the events maganda and very attractive. So, at an early age, I was also introduced to organizational commitment. And as I went forward, in my career, the next organizational commitment I have is to the JNG family or RLI. But my commitment starts at the very basic, which is my unit, the land acquisition unit. Because I consider them as my responsibility, and there should be unity and commitment in the basic business unit you have so that you can influence the bigger company. So start small, and hopefully, and not hopefully, and there will be benefits to the entire organization. So this is my kwento about organizational commitment. Okay. So the first type of organizational commitment I want to discuss is what you call affective commitment. Okay, this refers to the psychological connection an individual has with an organization. Okay. Signs, so this describes team members who want to further their involvement with their company and play an active role in the development because they enjoy their work. Team members in this scenario often have high job satisfaction, passion for their role, and dedication to the company. Signs of this are motivation to perform effectively and participation in team meetings and discussion. So this is the ideal commitment we want in an organization. This is ideal. And we all know we're still in the process of reaching that or this state. Because, why I say this is ideal? Because this involves now yung emotions ng tao, yung pag-iisip and puso. So the first one I wanted to discuss with you or show you is what we want to achieve. Okay? So we are still in the process of reaching this goal. Because the next kind of organizational commitment I want to show you is actually one that is happening now. The next one is what you call continuance commitment. Continuance commitment results from team members analyzing their current situation and deciding that remaining in a job is their best option. They conclude that they should stay with the company because their benefits or future opportunities depend on their current employment. An example is one individual staying in a company long-term to receive retirement benefits. I'm not saying that this is wrong. I'm just saying that this really happens. And it happens, it's actually happening to us now. Not only in our company, not only in J&G, but other companies outside. Because this is a reality. Somehow, this commitment is equated to survival or parang future investment. But we all know sometimes, if something happens to the company, this continuance doesn't happen. So the sustainability of this kind of organizational commitment is not sure to happen. It's very vulnerable to a lot of external factors. Like when COVID-19, the pandemic, a lot of companies had to close down. So all of a sudden, the commitment is gone. So the reason why I wanted to also discuss this with you, because it's so easy to get stuck in this kind of commitment. But we should know better and step up or level up to the first one, which is affective commitment. The last kind of organizational commitment I want to discuss is normative commitment. Normative commitment is when an individual continues at a job because they feel that they have a duty or responsibility to their organization. This type of commitment can make individuals feel indebted to their employers and motivate them to stay as repayment for the company's investment in their development. Team members influenced by normative commitment might stay at a job because leaving would affect operations, company has trained them and supported their growth, rewarded their efforts, and treated them well. So this is also very prevalent in our company and other companies. Because technically, it's called normative. This is supposedly the norm. But again, there's nothing wrong with this. But this is, to me, this is a stepping ground to reach a better form of commitment, which is, I still believe, affective commitment. So, normative, this really happens to all of us. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're feeling that kind of commitment, that's okay. But always remember, there's always something better. Because in J&G, we have the magic to go for the greater good, to do more. And what I'm presenting here, there is affective commitment. So don't feel just because you're in the continuance or normative, wala ka nang mapupuntahan. Meron pa. Affective. And the reason why I can say that this is a reality is because of my experience in personal commitment. Because it's what started in Savior as my personal commitment to study well led to commitments in the production crew where I was able to realize that in school, it's not all pala studying and grades. It's also helping out classmates, friends, to accomplish things that before, di nila naisip ng school, pero na-realize sila, oh, with the production crew, gaganda yung stage. Mas marami ma-ensayo, ma-enganyo sa mga events. So, from a personal commitment, I joined an organizational commitment which made not only me happy, but other people happy. My friends, my barkada, but also the school became happy. So what I'm saying is, if you reach an affective commitment, the effects, the ripple effects are far greater because a bigger organization will benefit. Okay, so that's my next screen. Benefits of commitment within an organization. Increased team member retention, boost productivity, enhance organizational performance, creates positive organizational development, improves company reputation and branding. Again, the example I gave earlier, the production crew, which was a non-paying job, but what happened was, production crew was so good after we graduated from Xavier, there was another batch who continued the production crew. So, it's a simple, parang if you think about it, it's so simple, but it had a big effect in Xavier that Xavier said, dapat matuloy yung production crew because of commitment to this organization. Next, factors that influence commitment in an organization. One is happy workplace, fair compensation, strong and decisive leadership, job stability, and effective communication. So the next one I want to discuss is how to improve commitment in an organization. Always assess current commitment levels. Focus on teamwork, communicate company goals and value, reward success, and foster trust. Okay, so J&G has been reaching out to all of us. And one form of reaching out is Culture Day, Yellow Table, Synergy Mondays. All of these are reaching out to all of us to elevate our level of commitment to the affective commitment. It's very challenging sometimes, but I want to share with you, I just came from a 3-day retreat yesterday. And the timing was kind of strange because we're in the stage of planning for more properties to acquire. Then all of a sudden, in the middle of it, I was invited to a 3-day retreat. So I attended. And surprisingly, it helped. In moving forward, you stop and go back. And then you go back and you get energy. The energy I got in the 3-day retreat was simple, di ba? I'm not alone, and God is with me, and reading the Bible can help me in the direction to accomplish the targets set out for the year. So the timing is actually good because it happened at the start of the year in planning. Sometimes we're planning to move forward always. We forget that we should also step backwards and go back to someone who can help us. And June was right because at the end of this 3-day retreat, we have no reason to fail in not accomplishing our targets kasi you're already given divine intervention in the retreat. So wala na tayong excuse or palusot na hindi matamaan yung targets. So, my last statement, the golden rules of commitment. It's only in commitment where the golden rule, by the way, the golden rule is he who has the gold rules. In commitment, it doesn't work. Kahit may pera ka, di mo makokontrol yung commitment. Okay? So commitment, it's a simple thing. You should know what you're getting into before entering a commitment. And you should also know who you're committing with the commitment. So in our job, sa land acquisition, palaging sinasabi sa amin ni June, saka ni Chairman, are you talking to the owner ba? Are you talking to the right person? Because if you're talking to the wrong person, then you're just wasting your time. So you should make a commitment with the right person. And secondly, you should know what you're committing to. Because kung mali yung intindi mo sa commitment mo, then the commitment's gonna fail. And if it does fail, the first thing you should do is admit it failed and end the commitment. Rather than continue the commitment that you know is gonna fail, then you're just wasting the time of the other person and the company's time. But always remember, at the end of the day, the only person who can make a commitment succeed is you. So thank you very much. So I wanted to show you the correct persons or people I have commitments with. Long-standing commitments. So my mom, who's with Bea when she was very young. And then my family, that's my Belle and Bea, when Bea was younger and when Bea now taken a few years ago. And June Nang, who I hope you saw in the pictures ever since we were in grade school, kasama ko na si June. So these are the people that I've committed with, and I still commit with, have a commitment with. And it's been an effective commitment and a happy one. So, thank you very much and have a great weekend.